Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and incidents in pop culture to see how those incidents may or may not affect our daily lives. Little housekeeping: if you want to support the channel, please hit that like button. If you want to support it for the free, hit that like button. Also, subscribe. And once you subscribe, you'll be open to a plethora of movie and television series that I have reviewed, and also my pop culture chats. If you want to support this channel monetarily, you see my Cash App rolling down at the bottom, and also memberships are available. All right, y'all. Here we are. Here we are. Here we are. We are chugging along. We're chugging along. Y'all, we're in episode 5 of season 2, episode 5 of Reasonable Doubt. Honey, this episode is entitled Guilty Until Proven Innocent. Let's get through this. Let's get through it. So Chanel has done her interview. Her interview has played across the masses. They have done a poll, a study showing that her case resonates with women and that her case does not resonate with men. So they had their jury consultant sit down with them, Corey and Jax. They had the jury consultant sit down with them. They have picked their jury, and baby, we are in trial, honey. And they're doing it differently, a little differently than last year. They're kind of speeding through some things. And so we hear from the detective. We learn a lot more. We learn that Chanel didn't call the police until 2.5 hours later. We see that she had washed clothes. We see that the body had been moved, but we do remember from her flashback that JT had kind of scooted up after he got hit in the head. We also remember from the flashback that she had last week, somebody hit JT on the head. Now, it's my money that it's her eldest daughters. One of her daughters hit JT across the head. That is my instance to see that one of those daughters hit him across the head. Or her cousin Sally. Hear me out, hear me out, hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. I'm still rolling with the daughter, but I am thinking about cousin Sally. Because why would you put your house up like that, knowing that your husband had said, no, we can't do that. We can't afford to do that. But you do it anyway. And I'm trying to figure out, is that your house and he's in your name on it? I'm not going to get into the particulars. This is a TV show. Let's continue. So we learned that. We also learned that Chanel sent some text to her mother-in-law and talking about that her and her son are monsters. And we also learned mother-in-law was on the stand. We also learned that mother-in-law used to beat the brakes off her kids and put cigarette butts and things like that on and stuff like that. So we learned that JT's behavior is learned behavior. So let's continue. There's several little plots and things going on, and I'm going to try to go through them as best I can. So let's go ahead and stick with Jax and her family. We see that Lewis is talking with their son. He shows his son because he's trying to apologize for what he said about him playing ball and then wanting to be an artist and do plays and stuff like that. So he presents him with a packet of a school that has a good sports program, and he can it's like a performing arts type school. And he presents it to him, and his son is like, oh, cool. You know, Lewis will want to apologize. His son is like, okay, cool. I want to look at this because this is something that's interesting me. Now, Lewis and Jax, and I am bouncing around for a reason because I want you to go see it. I'm not going to go over every little instance, but I do want to talk about Jax and Lewis were in counseling. And Jax had mentioned, she wished that Lewis had run that by her, because if she would have said no, she would have looked like a bad guy. And, they're just going through their counseling. So they're coming up with the situation of where they're being, as far as their parenting is concerned, they have to act like a unit. And so Lewis talked to her about the stuff. And then they presented it to the son to say that, hey, you want to transfer schools next year? This is a great school for you to go to. And he got accepted. So we'll just leave that at that. We find Jack's mama is back. She got her new boo. They researched the new boo and figured out the new boo is pretty cool. Now, remember, this is about three 3 or 4 months after her husband died, because all the stuff with Jax and her husband died happened at the same time. So she reminds me of one of the women that can't be without a man, but that's her. As long as the man checks out and he doesn't appear to be someone that's going to cause her issues, I'm good with that. Everybody has their own little situation. Now let's get back to old Lewis. Now you remember last season when Lewis was messing around with JT, because him and Jax and him literally had broken up and they were headed for his divorce. He had separated from her. And you remember he went to that party with JT and come to find out that he was having sex with the same woman that JT was having sex with, old Miss Tony. I would have been in love right now if it wasn't for Tony. Ooh. Lewis is having all these flashbacks because we find out during the interview that JT, they found out that he had an affair with Tony because he had paid for her to get an abortion and she didn't do it. And so that came out in the TV interview. So now Lewis is thinking, hold up. Me and you had a little tryst. Could this baby be mine? And they meet up. He's talking to her because he called his brother in Atlanta. Because you remember his brother is a musician. He calls his brother in Atlanta. He's explaining what's going on. His brother's like, well, how you have her saved in the phone? Tony. He says, if you don't save her name as something very innocuous, it doesn't mean anything. And you need to let it go. And he's like, well, what if the baby's mine? He's like, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So he texts her to meet up with her. She meets up with him and she tells him, look, I want this baby. This baby is JT's. And he's like, well, it could be mine. She says, it doesn't matter. You went back to your wife. JT is dead. I'm the one that wants this baby. So we're not going to worry about all of that. And, Lewis left it at that. But he comes home. He has sex with his wife, Jax. And he's like, nah. I can't leave it at that. I can't leave it at that. I've got to, I can't leave it at that. I have to know. So it's going to be some mess because he's going to inadvertently be involved in this doggone case. I'm just telling y'all, he is going to inadvertently be involved in this case because he keeps texting Tony. And the prosecution is already upset. Now I'm going to bounce back to the court hearing because she didn't know about the abuse that JT had suffered from his mama. She didn't know anything about that. So she was stonewalled on that one. Baby, let's get to it. Lewis will not let it go. And that is his right not to let it go. But he's about to see what happens when you F around and find out. He's about to find all of this out. So as we continue, let's get to Adrian and Black Limousine Guy. Now, I don't want to know his name. I know his name, but I like to call him Black Limousine Guy. He's got all this security around him. And he meets up with Adrian, and there's all this security and stuff like that. And he's just been being big, just bulking up to Adrian and stuff like that. But Adrian has something on him. He has something on Adrian. And so they decide that they're going to come to a truce because he's like, Limousine Guy is like, I want my money. Chanel has my money. I want my money back. You said that you were going to get my money. I want my money. And I don't want to make any drastic turns. So Adrian's like, you can do what you want to because you don't have to worry about that. But if you leave Chanel alone and let me handle it. Well, he doesn't do that. He goes to the jail and he talks to Chanel. And I guess he must have told her about Adrian. So he tells him Jax came by because Jax did come by to talk with Black Limousine Guy. And she peeped it too, that he had a lot of security for someone who's just an agent or a financial manager for athletes, that he's got a lot of security. And it makes me believe, because we find out that he is also party into some sports betting thing in Japan. It makes me believe that money was maybe some kind of money that's owed to those people. So he wants that money so that he can get those people paid. This hints why he's got all this security and stuff that's floating around him. So it's interesting to see because they're caught up in some stuff. He goes and he tells Chanel, I can make it so that I can I can help you with this case because you have the money I need. I can help you with this case. So if you give me the money, I can give you a way to, help this out. And I think he's going to try to use Adrian as a patsy, but we will see. We will see. Let's get to old Slick Corey. Slick Corey has an agenda. He wants to run this case because he wants the publicity. He wants the cachet, so to speak, to help him get his first client, Isabella, off. So he's not open to any other aspects of something else is going on because he has complete tunnel vision. He wants to work on this domestic violence issue. That's the only issue that he wants to work with. Meanwhile, Jax is exploring all different kinds of things. Her private investigator is coming back with some information and things like that. And she's like, well, we don't have time for that angle, but we do need this information just in case. And so Corey goes, he invites the business partner to a cigar bar, and he's basically trying to get them to reel Jax in, put Jax in her place. There's a whole lot of other type of dynamics going on there, but we won't get into that because that's a whole nother video. But he did that instead of having a conversation with Jack, because he was trying to make it like, so he kept telling her, I'm the first chair, I'm going to talk with the thing. And so Jax was like, okay. They can't, the press, because what happened was the press came and talked to Jax because we can't deny that Jax is a good litigator, and we won't deny that he is a good litigator, but he is lead chair, which is the truth. But he was upset that Jax talked to the press because he wants to be the face of the case. So he tries to get the partners to basically make her push back. And so she comes to him with that. And she just told him, she says, look, I understand that, but you could have talked to me straight face to face. You didn't have to go behind my back and get the overseers to try to talk to me. But I still don't trust Corey because, again, he's not going to want to see the big picture of the case. He's not going to even want to see anything else. He's just going to believe what's going on. And he's believing that is a domestic violence case, but he is not actually dibbling into the fact that Chanel may not have killed him. Because the thing that I can't understand is we know that he was choking her, and he was choking her from the, and then he's hit across the head. So no one is trying to explain how she was able to get out from under him to hit him in the head. And Jax is so close to it, she's not thinking about it. Corey has tunnel vision, he's not thinking about it. No one is actually trying to think about how the fight panned out in the house. So we don't get to see that, but that's just something interesting to talk about in terms of, if we're believing Chanel that Chanel is the one that did the killing, why is nobody figuring out how this happened if we're talking about self-defense? Because it can be self-defense, but she could have been covering something up after the fact. I mean, that is something that she can be convicted of because she did do things to try to cover up. But the initial thing was the fact that it was self-defense. So we'll see. We'll see. Let me see if I'm missing anything. So at the end, we see that black limousine man tells Adrian that he needs to take care of Jax because Jax is sniffing around. So he tells Jax to meet her at Chanel's house. So she was going to go over there by herself. And thank goodness for fake Jackie Chan investigator. Thank goodness that he was there, and I guess she had a flashback of her first season boo, how he did her. So she wasn't going to go there alone. She told him, I'm going to go in the house alone. But if I if you don't hear me from me in 6 minutes, you need to call the police. So she goes in there with Adrian. Adrian is sitting in the dark with a gun in the back pocket, and a gun in the back, in his small of his back. So we will see what's going to go on there. So that's pretty much the episode. Like I said, I do not want to go into all of it because I want you to watch it with me. Are y'all watching? It's episode 5, people. Guilty until proven innocent. Y'all come join me in this. So whew, that was a lot. So let's go ahead and end this, and let's get to Chanel Boo. What you done did? And so you have our little bubbles now. I'm gonna go over here. Our bubble to the left, did you kill JT? If it has white behind it, then we're answering the questions as we're going on. If it doesn't have any white behind it, then we don't have any answers. So who hit JT in the dead head? I said the eldest daughter when I did this slide, but I am starting to believe Sally is the one did it. And that's why she was so quick to put her house up. Who are you protecting, Chanel? Again, I think it's that eldest daughter. And what really made me think it was the eldest daughter was the fact that the grandmother brought the kids to court. I don't know why they would bring those children to court, but the grandmother brought the children to court, and they were watching what was going on and listening to the grandmother talk the way she talked. So I think that Chanel is protecting that eldest daughter. Did JT's business manager steal JT's money? I'm beginning to say yes. And I'm beginning to believe that what happened was JT had the money, and then Adrian hid it from JT by putting it all in Chanel's name and everything like that, and in accounts that JT couldn't get to. It says and that's part of that, and in him doing that and then JT dying, they can't get to the money. What did Black Limousine guy say to Chanel? Because he went to the jailhouse to see Chanel. So I'm interested in what he told Chanel. Now, Chanel, what we find out, is a person that can hold secrets and can lie her tail off. So I am curious to see what he told her. That's going to be interesting, because if that $30 million starts to move, then it's going to be some issue. Okay. Louis' sex with Tony will be discovered. Yes, because Louis keeps going. He keeps going. That's his personality. If she'd told me I'm letting it go, I'd have let it go, because she doesn't have to present that child for DNA, but he wants to know if that's child. He has to know. She says it was JT. The news people believe that she's pregnant by JT. Leave it at that, but he doesn't. He wants to figure that out, and that is going to have a bearing on the case. It's going to have a negative bearing on the case, particularly on Jax's part. Adrian's got a gun. Adrian's got a gun, because he went to that meeting with Jax that he called to come to Chanel's house, and he had a gun. What's the deal with this sports betting scam or this sports betting thing? And does the limo man the Japanese gangster, what do they call the Yakuza? I couldn't remember until now. Yakuza, is that what they're called? You think he owes money? Because baby, I'm telling you, he is sitting up in here, and when I tell you this man is sitting here with a whole bunch of security, it'll make your head hurt. Because when I say that this man has a lot of security, and this is where they're having this little meeting. You see all the security that he has? He has a whole lot of security. And here we see Corey and Jax, going over the case and stuff, and him talking about being the face of the case and all that good stuff, which is fine. He can be the face of the case all he wants to. This is Jax and Louis listening to the interview on the TV. So that's about all I'm gonna go over with this. So again, what y'all think? We got a lot. This has been a good season. This I don't know, maybe that first season had so many twists and turns, and there was no personal aspect with like this young lady is to Jax. The other guy, he was like her first case that she lost, but this person, Chanel, is very close to Jax. So this personal act is interesting, but we're getting a lot of little twists and turns. So what do y'all think? Y'all hit that. Y'all tell me down in the comments, okay? So again, hit this like button, subscribe, and share this video. All right, people. Next week, episode 6. I think that there are 8 episodes, so we should be seeing some movement on this case. Going quickly, going quickly, going quickly. We should be seeing some movement going quickly. So again, please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos, child. Until next week, for Reason to Black Out. Bye bye.